All right, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, welcome to the second segment of Enterprise Core and the Kentucky Innovation Network's Capital Series, Founders and Funders. And in this particular segment, we're going to focus today on angel investing. I'm Lisa Bajornis with the Innovation Network and Executive Director of Enterprise Core. So we have a great program for you all. And just a little bit of background on this, you know, as we were mapping out and planning what kind of educational series we could put out there for our entrepreneurial community, certainly certain segments came to mind, particularly around appropriate forms of capital depending on your stage of business. And we certainly wanted to include the topic of angel investing, so we're glad you're here. I wanted to just give a special shout out and thanks. We've got Daniel Johnson and Kelby Price over here that are actually live streaming our program for us, so they are diligently getting that all working and live streaming that out via YouTube out to the rest of the Innovation Network. So that'll hit a lot of the other offices in the state and their entrepreneurial clients. I want to also mention you are in the chef space here. How many of you, this is your first time in this particular venue? Awesome. I love it. So just very quickly, Chris Lavinson is the Executive Director of Chef Space. This is a kitchen and restaurant and food truck incubator. Young entrepreneurial chefs and cooks and restaurant owners and whatnot. And so at some point when you have an opportunity, I do encourage you to take a tour of this space. There is a huge amount of industrial commercial kitchen space here that those entrepreneurs can come and use in the incubator. So it's a wonderful new asset in our entrepreneurial community. So I encourage you to take a moment to tour that. And I hope that Chris will stop in a little bit later. I also wanted to thank our events team for helping to put this together. Sydney, who's out in front and helped us here. We've also got Bryn with us, Catherine Greenwell, who's new to the GLI team. Thank you. And we've also got our Enterprise Core team, Amelia and Britton, of course. So thank you to everybody. And Marie, who's not here, but she helped as well. Yay! Yay! Yay for the events team. It doesn't happen without these diligent women. It's Tendai knows. Sydney, we were just thanking you, so thanks for helping to put this all together. Cool. Okay, the way our program's going to work today, we thought we would divide the perspective of angel investing into two parts. First, we're going to have Tendai Charasika speak from the perspective of an entrepreneur and what is the good, the bad, and the ugly of embarking on angel raise, as he well knows. And we'll have that first. And then second, we'll have, obviously, lots of good time for Q&A. And then we're going to hit up our investor panel over here to get their perspective on investment opportunities from that investor perspective. So if you don't know Tendai, and I don't know how you could not, but first, it's this face. It's that smile. It's that laugh that makes Tendai so endearing to all of us. Tendai is a passionate entrepreneur, a fan, and an athlete who leverages all of his past experiences in global operations, startup companies, and sports teams. Tendai is the CEO of Superfan U, and he holds a BS in chemical engineering from U of L, as well as an entrepreneurial MBA from U of L. And he's here to tell us a little bit about his angel raise experience. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tendai.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Lisa. This is awesome. Hey, a lot of familiar faces, which is really good. And I see a good dispersion of experience probably in fundraising or getting companies off the ground, and then probably some folks that are maybe looking to get things off the ground and raise some capital and things of that nature. I also see some investors in the room. So I think we can have a good, open, candid conversation around fundraising, which I think can hopefully be beneficial with a lot of folks that are looking to do that. So I won't spend a lot of time, and hopefully we'll have Q&A that can really dig down deep beneath the surface if that's where you guys want to go. As Lisa mentioned, she wanted me to kind of talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, or the what, when, why, how, and that type of thing. I kind of distilled all that into, starting here with the history of SuperFanU very quickly. So SuperFanU was founded in 2011 by two founders, Chris Nowak and Kayla Mount, who did some work with the University of Louisville around fan engagement. So U of L said, look, we have some issues with trying to build awareness around all the events that are going on campus. How do we incentivize more students to come to more events? Also around sponsors. So as more and more sponsors, the Papa John's of the world, the Chick-fil-A's of the world, as they're looking to really understand who the market is to these events, how do they market to them and stay interactive with them, there was nothing to do that. So we really kind of call that a lack of fan data. And so they looked down and they said, well, there's loyalty rewards programs in the airline industry. There's that also in the financial industry. Nothing like that in the athletic realm or educational realm, really. So they brought a mobile loyalty rewards program to the University of Louisville. That was the first minimal viable product. And like great entrepreneurs, didn't spend a lot of time making the product. They created it, started shopping it out, asked U of L to kind of break it, tell them where they needed to improve. And then from there, they tracked it out to the likes of Michigan, which was one of their first customers. As Michigan would be one of the most valuable brands out there in athletics. And then from that time forward, have since grown into over 28 collegiate athletic conferences. Some of our clients in the collegiate market include the Harvards, UPenns, Floridas, Colorado States, Arizonas, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, alumni and athletics, all over Transylvanias of the world. So from Division I to Division II and III, and even NAIA as well. And then since that time, in about 2014, started to really focus on the high school market, where demand was being pulled into the high school market as athletic directors saw what the collegiate market was doing. And now have grown over 500% in the high school market. Schools all over the country, from Washington State, California, to the middle of the country, Oklahoma, Missouri, Connecticut, down to Florida. And then we're also in minor league sports. So we have a growing presence there. The Louisville Bats are one of our clients. Louisville City FC is another one of our clients. It's ice hockey team, arena football team. We have a church, and we've got a gym. We also have a CPA firm that's looking to jump on board as well. So different segments that we can jump into. So that was a little bit of the growth of the company. We also, in about 2013, we have since gone from two founders, Chris and Kayla, now to roughly about 20 employees broken out in multiple functional groups, from sales, account management, development, to even office administration, and a great group of interns. So the company has been growing successfully since 2011, which is fantastic, but more on the realm of equity and how that really fits into the puzzle. So 2013, that Chris and Kayla were literally working out of an apartment. It was Chris's apartment. They would meet there each day, and Chris is a developer, so a well-balanced team. Chris is a developer, been developing since he was about in 7th grade, and then Kayla brought a great sort of business development, customer focus. They were building the product there. And once they started to see that they had a little bit of traction, they said, there's really two things that we can do. We can either continue at the pace that we are doing now, or we can try to accelerate and move faster, right? And understand sort of the goals of what they wanted to do with the company. And it was around that decision that actually we got connected with GLI's Enterprise Core, and got connected to what would turn out to be ultimately the chairman of the company, and a lead investor, but also mentor, a gentleman by the name of Steve Huey. And it was at that time raised the first round of capital. We can call that our seed round of capital, $100,000. So went from there to bringing on some interns, and then also finding a space outside the apartment, to ultimately in 2014, that's where I entered the picture. According to LinkedIn, it's my 2-year celebration anniversary too, by the way. So today's 2 years that I've been with the company. And so it was in 2014 that we then, again, sort of another milestone in the company, say, do we want to continue on doing what we're doing doing product development, working with a few of the schools that we have, to see if we can't take it to the next level and ramp things up full scale. So the seed round really helped to go kind of prove out that MVP and get to some variations in the product. And then the second round here, which we can call our Series A round, was $1 million round. So we raised that in 2014. And we raised that in about 80, 90 days. And then from there, we have just recently, as of February, as we've grown the company, brought on other folks and done some development, we have now opened a bridge round, which we did in February. Have since closed that, actually last week, for $800,000. And so that continues to be sort of the progression that we're on. So we're sort of on that path of raising capital, equity, and debt. So we've done a mixture of that. We can kind of talk about the mix of that if you guys want to. But hopefully you can see how that kind of tracks with the growth of the company and sort of where we've been, from 2 people to sort of a local presence to in different markets. Where I start with is really around understanding the philosophy of fundraising. So if you're in here and you've got a company, maybe you've raised some money before, maybe you're thinking about raising some money before, or thinking about raising some money for your company, you know, the first one, and I've already mentioned it, really comes around understanding the pace at which you want to move, right? So, and this will be dependent upon obviously what sector that you're in and what product is that you have, but for us, we're in the technology sector, mobile technology sector, and I will caveat this, you know, anything advice I'm giving or talking about is just from my own experience and what we do. It may be different, so just sharing that from my perspective. So we're in the mobile technology space. Things move very, very quickly, and so you have to understand, will at the pace that you're at now today get you to the goals that you have for the company? And you have to really consider sort of the market dynamics, right? How fast is the market developing? How many competitors are in your space, not in your space yet, but could enter into your space? What are the barriers that you have or don't have or can you create? And, you know, how big is the market, right? And is the market trending, right? And something that, whether it's investors, but more importantly, customers, are they adopting this technology on an exponential increasing basis, or is this something that's sort of tapped out and running dry? And so for us, it really was about how to move with speed in a mobile technology space where we're one of the innovators who are bringing mobile loyalty programs in the educational space. So when you think about smartphones and that technology, we're talking about something that's, you know, 9 years old, a decade in for what we're doing with smartphones and their capabilities. So for us, it was about speed, purely. I think if you talk to Chris and Kayla today, they'll tell you that, honestly, they would have rather never given up equity. They would have probably never raised money. They would have been happy with the 2 of them sitting in an apartment somewhere, building a nice product and having a nice kind of company. But they look back and they said, what about our goals, right? What about our goals and where do we want to be and where do we want this company to be and what are we trying to get out of it? And so I think you have to have a real heart-to-heart, whether you're working by yourself or you're working with a partner, understanding what you want the goals of the company to be, and can raising capital help you get there?